And those stages are Scrapyard and Via Dos. So plenty to go around, plenty to look out for, and our first match is about to be on the way. Okrim on the left as Max Brass, Yam on the right with Min Min. And let us get this on the way with, shall we? And already we're going to see Brass be frozen just a little bit, but immediately comes back with a quick punch to our Noodle Bomber. Max Brass going to be running with a double nade setup, so going for all of the unguided glory. Meanwhile, Yam is going to come in with Ice Dragon and Phoenix. Obviously, Min Min does have the use of that perma-charged arm. Hasn't got it up yet. Generally, we'll wait until they can get Max Brass off their feet. Mausoleum doesn't really give you much place to really get that charge up to retreat away from striking distance. Both will have rush already available. Okrim throwing both nades out to put a lot of pressure onto Yam, and Yam only just about able to block these grabs that are coming their way. And Brass is going to be the first one to blink with their rush. Hits for 310. All of that power. It does mean that Yam can now pick their moment, but it's going to get caught out by that grab. It's why you have to be very careful when you use your shield in these kind of environments. If you have it up for too long, someone like Brass will grab you, and if Brass decides, I'm going to start playing aggressive and in your face, you have to prepare for what are essentially some very quick and very hard to read grabs in your face. 20 seconds to go. Okrim isn't really in KO range. Yam is going to quickly change that though with a grab. That will put Okrim into KO range. Both in critical. Okrim now with the crit buff, but is just going to hold on to this barrier a little bit. But unfortunately, their arm was weak on the left-hand side, so Min Min forces the shield break, and enough damage is able to go through to get the KO on Okrim in the end. Okrim going to switch out one of those nades for a Tri-Blast. Yam, meanwhile, going to switch the Ice Dragon. Going to switch a little bit as well. Keeps the Phoenix, but is going to bring in the Roaster instead of the Ice Dragon. And Okrim, right in Yam's face, will force a shield break, but is only going to get 70 pure damage from that. The rest was just chip. So Yam was able to read that, but unfortunately gets caught with yet another nade. Is going to go for the rush, but Okrim. And that is the unfortunate thing you have to remember when going up against an all-explosive set. If at least one of those areas does connect and it is charged, it will start off the explosion range, and that is exactly what it did. The explosion caught Yam in mid-air and denied them the use of that rush, which means Okrim is in a very good position here. Can choose to hold on to this rush and take it into the next round if they can get a couple more punches, but Yam is doing really well here, able to just about avoid most of these hits. Finally does take the nade. Thankfully it was not fully charged, otherwise that might have been a KO. And as a result, Yam does now have a rush, so they'll be able to take this into the next point as well. Okrim isn't really anywhere near KO range, so Yam is trying to play a little bit patient here, trying to hope that the Phoenix can find their way through, but Okrim, just unfortunately, just dodging into one of those. Gets a self-destruct. Here comes the rush, and I feel like that was a wasted opportunity there for Yam. I think Yam thought that they might have been able to catch Okrim out, but even then, at a tall order, I'm afraid, and Max Brass is going to punch back quickly. And it does mean that Yam is going to have to charge that up all the way from the beginning, while Okrim starts with that rush advantage. It's going to get picked by the Roaster, though. And again, forced a self-destruct. Here comes the rush. Yam is going to fully protect it. No shield break this time around. Both arms are weak, but they should fade away by the time Brass starts coming back on the offensive. And yet, look at this pressure already. Yam in a much more comfortable position here. The arms very much working for them this time round as the trampoline finally appears. Took quite a while to come out, but it finally does. And Okrim, look at this health gap that they've got to really claw back here. Yam pretty much still past that 75%. Finally does get picked under it by the Tri-Blast. The grab is just unfortunately too early. Both participants now with rush available, and again Yam sidesteps into yet another Tri-Blast, and it's kind of what those kind of arms are there for. 3 horizontal bolts. It does mean that there is more of a chance of being able to connect, especially with a mobile character like Min Min. With 30 seconds to go, this is actually very close now. Okum has managed to claw this back. Oh, and I thought they were just about able to avoid Yam's hit, but unfortunately not. And goes down to the KO, and Yam will start with the first point in this match. Very close match, very close round to start us off with. Remember, this is a best of 3, so now at this point the winner will ban 2 stages, which include the counter picks, and Akarim will then pick a stage that will be going to straight afterwards. Yam is going to ban Sparring and Mausoleum, so we are going to go to Buster Beach. And yeah, that matchup was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie, that really could have gone either way. It did look like Akram had quite the mountain to climb, but they came back. They came back pretty strong. Okay, so both participants are ready to go. They're not going to switch fighters. Arkham going to stick with Brass and Min Min for Yam. Arkham going to switch out one of the arms though. We'll keep the nade. We're just going to switch that Tri-Blast for a Chakram. So we're going to try and play the stun game now. Yam, meanwhile, going to bring in an Ice Dragon. And going to keep hold of that Rosa. So both playing an unguided glove. And Yam is going to score first with that grab. Has already got the Ice Dragon perma-charged, and it's not something you want to be on the receiving end of. And Yam doing a pretty good job. Finally does get clipped, but already has Max Brass weakened and arm weak on that left-hand side. Akram is going to take all of that. 350. The laser hit hard, and Akram's grabs got stopped not once but twice. They were really desperate for one of those to land, but Yam has an answer for everything it seems, and Akram is now going to bring out a Whammer. So going big or going home essentially for Akram here. Playing a very, very heavy game. And Yam just going to take their time. They're going to come in with the same arm combination, but Akram is going to play very, very aggressive here. Being a little too aggressive, it must be said. Just flinging out the nade, followed immediately by the Whammer, and hoping one of them sticks, because if neither of them stick, it gives Yam an opportunity to quickly get in there. But both on relative same health now. Akram trying to bait out Yam, but Yam is going to again just block that entire thing off. Arm weak on that right hand side, is going to get caught with another explosion. So Yam does need to be a little careful here. And that's what I mean. Just had to be patient. Try to not only get out of the corner, but to get themselves into a spot to go for the rush. But the hammer was already on course to hit. And Akram will not allow Min Min to get out of that corner. And we are going to see another one apiece round here. So Yam can still go through to the semis if they win this point with a 2-0. It won't tell the whole story, obviously, but crucially for Akram, they've got a chance to get away from this. Yam is going to drop the dragon and go back to that Phoenix. Akram, well, they went big in that second point. They're going to go big in the third point as well. And Yam going to do exactly what Akram hoped that they would do. Kept the shield up too much. Oh, and just about catches Yam before they hit the floor. I thought they left it too late, but somehow Yam was not fully on the floor yet, and Akram is running over Yam right now, and again gets another explosion that stops Yam, and Yam has no response. That is absolute brutality there from Max Brass. Wow, one apiece in this set. My word, Akram, that was brutal. Min Min got stuck in the corner, and from there, Max Brass was only going to do one thing, and that was just dominate. Well, this time it'll be Akram who gives us our 2 bans. And it's going to be Scrapyard and DNA that goes down. And we are going to see a counter pick. We are going to see VoD come straight into contention. Oh wow, that was amazing. Not gonna lie, that was amazing. Like, you just saw it. You saw Min Min get caught with the explosion and they went down, and I was like, oh damn, Aku's going for the rush. And normally, quite a lot of times I see somebody go for that, and sometimes it doesn't. Quite a lot of times it doesn't work. So it's really nice that Min Min was like millimeters from the ground, and somehow it hit and kept them up. Very impressive from Aquaman. It does mean that we are going to see our first match go the distance. It's one apiece. Gonna stick with Brass and Min Min naturally. I mean, with these two, you pretty much gathered that by now. Yam is going to make a bit of a change. We're gonna see a wonderful little brawler come out here. So definitely gonna play very differently. I'm gonna keep that roaster. Meanwhile, Aqua, well, the go big or go home strategy worked for them not once but twice. So let's see if they can get a hat trick with this. But so far, they're unfortunately getting peppered by this roaster, and very good call there from Yam. Grab was in the right place at the right time, and Akrim is being shut down here hard. Already into critical, and Akrim, well, they've got a mountain to climb here. Does get the hammer hit and the nade. Very nice little solid 1-2 combo, and the rush is going to come out as well. Will it get a shield break? It does, but it will only do 90 pure damage. But this nade and hammer combination is just juggling Yam at this point. And Yam finally does get a hit. Arm weak on the right hand side. Can they get through the hammer? They can, just about. Very heavy plays there from Max Brass, and Yam just having to take a breather, just be a little cool there. Gets away with it in the end. But that was definitely starting to look quite a distressed situation there for Yam. But they are going to come in with a Phoenix this time round, so they didn't quite like the brawler. I think they very much got away with it just a little bit there. So in comes the Phoenix. Akrim is going to stick with this Whammer and Nade combination, but Yam, I feel like, has got a read on her. Speaking of reads, very good curve there from Akrim straight into Yam's face. No way of avoiding that one this time round. And that is what you have to watch out for with the explosives. You saw that right there. Nade was able to just about block one of the upcoming punches from Yam, but as a result, caused a self-destruct. But speaking of which, 400 damage to Yam. Yam does have rush available, but that's a long way back from here with 45 seconds to go. Pretty much one more hit from either of these two arms might seal the deal. Yam does have rush, but you don't think you'd use the rush at this point, especially when you're on 1 HP and your opponent still has 75% health. And yep, just as expected, the nade will connect. We are going to see another match go all the way between these two, and all bets are off on how this is going to go. What a great start to this tournament we've got here for you. And Yam is actually now going to go ahead and re-equip that brawler. Tried to go for the grab, but just immediately punched through, and already arm weak on the left-hand side. Could cause a shield break if they're not careful. Just sort of slowly fade away. But it's still in contention there. But now finally does go away. That knockback from the brawler very much helped them get a little bit of time. But the stun from the hammer sets up another quick 1-2 combo with that nade. And Yam is going to fall foul of yet another one. Both do have rush available, and Yam trying to play the patient game, baited out Akrim, who went for the grab. 340 on that rush. Nicely done by Yam. And is unfortunately going to get caught out with a rush of Brass's own. It sends Yam into critical. Akrim has just about half health. That's a big time grab. One more punch is all they need, but they're not going to even need it. One big hug is all he needs. And that's exactly what's going to happen. What a way to start this tournament. Akrim comes back from 1-0 to win it 2-1. GG's all round. Honestly, all bets were off there, but it was not one, but two grabs back to back that sealed the deal for Arcrim and takes Arcrim into the semi-finals. Iceman beat Yoshi Bowser in our other round, which means they beat them 2-0, so they will go through into our other semi-finals. So, as it stands in the underground bracket, we have Yam and we have Yoshi Bowser. Yam will face the loser of our second semi-final, which is Replicant versus Iceman. Yoshi Bowser will face the loser of Grimwood versus Arcrim. Those two are your semi-finals. So for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the EU Arms Challenge Cup. It's the 35th installment of this wonderful little series. And we are about to gear up for semi-final number 1. I'm just going to figure out who it's going to be. It's going to be Replicant and... Yep, we're going to start with Replicant Iceman. Just hide over there and update all of this for you. And there we go. So that is semi-final number 1 coming up. These two have done plenty of amazing things in this, not just this series, but in ARMS in general. These two have been absolutely amazing. They're always coming out with some pretty nice combinations, especially for Iceman, but you know, no pun intended on that side of things. And Iceman has been on quite a bit of a tear lately, it must be said. Came very close to winning last week's Scrap Star series, fought all the way through the underground bracket to go up against Replicant in the grand finals. Lost 3-2 in the end. It was a very close set. But after having some pretty hard times in the past couple of Challenge Cups, so they're definitely hoping that not only can they make it back into top 3, but maybe go all the way and take the title of the Challenge Cup. You never know. Mausoleum is where we are going to start. It seems to be the theme of the day. Always seem to be starting on Mausoleum. And these two are going to get themselves ready. And Iceman will be on the left. They'll be coming in as Ribbon Girl. And Replicant will be coming in as Lollipop. And there we go. Ribbon Girl is going to be coming in with another... We've got another person using the nade. This time it's Ribbon Girl, Nade, and Burchuck. Meanwhile, Replicant going to come in with the Hydra and the Burchuck. So both coming in with our wonderful Icy Chuck friend. So... And to be fair, it's a really good arm to pick for both of these characters. Ribbon Girl and Lollipop are pretty mobile, pretty agile characters in their own way. Lollipop able to wander around, bounce around, consistently inflating and just being a nuisance with that shield. And obviously Ribbon Girl, that double jump, the consistent, just the high paced movement from both of these two characters is always off the charts. Replicant, unfortunately, not going to really pick up much with that rush. Iceman just doing what Ribbon Girl does best. And just trying to get freezes if they can, but at the same time, if you get caught by a nade, it's always hard. And obviously, Ribbon Girl doesn't like Hydras that much. That verticality is very much designed to stop Ribbon Girl from doing all of these quick, fast-paced jumps if they can land. Replicant so far being the more consistent here. Whilst they didn't get the rush, Iceman is already into critical and just always able to have a read on what Iceman wants to do, just consistently moving out of the way so far. So it's just slow amounts of damage that is starting to build up over time, and the Hydra at its peak is going to get the kill, the KO on Ribbon Girl. And both will start with rush available, but Replicant, you feel like, has the advantage. So at the moment, Iceman is going to bring out a Tri-Blast and is able to dash around, but Replicant is able to stop their rush and realize, yep, don't try and do anything else, just block it and and go from there. So both parties not able to get anything with that rush, so well, they have to do the hard way. And on paper, Replicant, you know, they were able to just about control the last point, so we'll see if Iceman can adapt to what Lola is bringing to the table here. But so far they just keep being mowed down by the Hydra. And yes, they are able to get a nade hit or two every now and then, but Replicant is able to keep being more consistent, but finally does get caught by the rush. The placement of Ribbon Gold this time around working out in Iceman's favor. But so far still not able to really find a way through this wall that Replicant has. The Chuck and the Hydra just be overpowering Iceman just a little bit. They're finally starting to find a way through though. The bolt slows Replicant down just enough for the nade to catch up and explode on impact. Both on, I was going to say similar kind of health, but as a result, Iceman is now suddenly into critical. We have 15 seconds to go, and Rep does have a rush available if they want to go for the quick KO. If they find a spot to do so, they do, but they inadvertently knocked Iceman out of the way. They are going to get a lot of damage here, but they need a grab with 2 seconds to go. That one doesn't connect, and neither does the second. And Lola Pop holds on for dear life and will take the first point. Iceman knew that having connected with the rush with 5 seconds to go, your only way of winning there was a big time grab. The first one didn't hit, the second one unfortunately didn't either. If anything, the second one was blocked through. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Desperate times called for desperate measures, but it did not pay off for Iceman. Replicant will take the initial lead and will ban Spawn Ring and Viadol, so we'll see if we end up going back to Mausoleum or if we're going to have a different call this time. Yep, Mausoleum again. Iceman wants to stay on our spooky place. Fitting really, considering the fact that Halloween week is upon us. Let me know if you've got any spooky plans of your own in the chat if you're watching. Iceman is going to throw out the Ribbon Girl and come in with their own Lola Pop. So I hope you like bouncy shields, because you're going to see it from both sides of the field. Iceman going to come in with a Chiller and a Brawler. They got a Brawler of their own. It's the shock version. Meanwhile, Replicant going to come in with a Tri-Bolt and immediately catches Iceman with that stun and sends him straight back. Thankfully, Replicant isn't close enough to really take advantage of these stuns, but for the most part, it doesn't really matter, because if Iceman's in mid-air and gets caught with these stuns, they just immediately hit the floor, so Replicant won't mind that too much, because it just stops Iceman's momentum dead. And Replicant, well, Iceman was way too high up in the air and was going to always be susceptible to that rush. Replicant enjoying a massive health lead here. This combination is not working for Iceman at all. Iceman does have rush, tries to go forward and be a little aggressive, but unfortunately the grab was nowhere near, but that is going to connect. Good shock grab combo, always nice to see. But like I said, if Iceman takes one more hit, they're going down, and that's exactly what will happen. And 1-0. Will Replicant be able to seal a 2-0 and go straight into winner's final? We will find out as Replicant decides to stick with that Tri-Bolt and the Burchuck. And Iceman is going to switch up a little bit here. Going to switch into that slap and hit hard. 355 damage. Baited Replicant out of that shield position and very much caught them out. So Iceman will start with a little bit more of an advantage. This setup certainly working that little bit better. It's going to be frozen. It's going to take the grab from Replicant, who closed the gap very, very quickly. That's a bolt. That's a rush. Beautifully done from Replicant. It puts Iceman into critical, and a quick 1-2 punch will seal it 2-0. Well, Iceman tried to switch up, and to be fair, that second point was closer. They were certainly able to do more in there. That combination did work better, but unfortunately, Replicant still had all the right answers, and just like that, we'll go straight through to winners final. Who will they fight there? Well, we're going to find out as we get ourselves ready for semi-final number 2, which will be between Grimwood and Okrim. It does mean that in our first underground match, they generally happen off stream anyway, it will be between Iceman and Yam to progress into underground semi-final. So as we update everything on here, like I said, coming up now will be Okrim versus Grimwood. Grimwood is pretty much one of those consistent players at this point in time in terms of the Challenge Cup. They always find a way into top 3. They generally are like very consistent with that. 2 weeks ago, in our last EU Challenge Cup, the top 3 was Riffa, Grimwood, Sheddy. The one before that, it was Yada, Grimwood, Sheddy. Grimwood has finished second pretty much quite a lot. They're generally in that sort of, they're generally in the top 3 area. So you get the general scheme of things, yeah. And obviously with Sheddy not taking part, with Yada not taking part, with Riffa not taking part, Grimwood has an opportunity to maybe go one step further. But to do so, well, first of all, they're going to have to beat Okrim, who has been on quite the surge as of recent weeks. The last Scrapstar series that happened last Monday, Okrim came 4th, but the week before that, Okrim made it to the finals and came 2nd. So Okrim has been on quite the string of like good momentum here. So we're gonna see if they can bounce back and see if they can put their name into the top 3 in the Challenge Cup as well. It'll be a really good moment if they can do that. But there's a whole lot to be looking forward to. We're just waiting on Grimwood to ready up. Bands are coming in, but like I said, just waiting for Grimwood to enter. I think things did get updated, but we haven't switched the lobby arena, so I do apologise there. There we go. So yeah, once Grimwood is in, we will be good to go. And let's see if anybody did mention any spooky plans. No, nobody's mentioned any spooky plans yet. Ah, that's fine. I keep seeing that clown, the clown emoji popping up in things. It's like, it's so weird seeing that emoji, but at the same time, you know, it's nice to see. Yeah, I prefer. There we go. That's one I prefer. The actual Lola pop. Yeah, if we could just replace the clown emoji with Lola pop, that would be cool. I'd appreciate that. European Mausoleum Challenge, yeah, because once again it looks like we're going straight back to Mausoleum. Yep, Sparring, DNA, and Temple banned. Mausoleum was the pick, so no surprise there. So we have both of our participants in here. Grimwood is going to come in with a Kid Cobra. Why, hello there, our sneaky little friend. And naturally, Okrim is going to be going in Max Brass. What is Brass going to bring to the table this time round? It's going to be a Chakram and a Nade, and Grimwood immediately flung in with a grab, and Okrim was having none of that. Grimwood going to come in with a Coolerang and a Toaster. Almost got picked out of the sky by Okrim. Weakens up the left arm of Brass, and is going to continue peppering Brass, being completely up their face. And this is a little bit of a twist here for Okrim, because Okrim does this tactic a lot where he plays very much in your face with that intimidation factor, but Grimwood doing the same thing there, just straight up in Brass's face going, alright, what you gonna do now? And already the grabs are coming in thick and fast, and obviously Kid Cobra does do the same amount of damage as Brass does, 170 each there. And what in the world hit Okrim there? I have no idea. I didn't even see an arm come out from Kid Cobra there. But in either case, Okrim is up, well, a hit away from going down, just about able to stop that Coolerang, both with Rush available, and Grimwood is actually going to commit to this. But, well, that's not going to do anything, nor will it weaken either of the arms up. Arkrim will block through all of that. Try to go for the grab, did not connect. Try to go for a second, and Grimwood was always going to slip away because it's just how quick the Cobra is. And despite not having rush advantage, they will take the first point here. Arkrim thinking about if they're going to stick. I think they are going to stick. Chakram Nade is going to be the combination. Grimwood sticking with the Coolerang and the Toaster. So very happy with how that went initially, but Arkrim is going to come out with that rush first. 340 damage. And we'll see if they can keep any kind of consistency. Cobra opens up that middle area. So the trampoline is up, and you saw Brass immediately shut Cobra down. And that's going to be another grab connect. And the second that middle platform opens up, you just sense that Arkrim's momentum just suddenly comes alive, because they seem to play much better when that trampoline is up. Having said that, Cobra is going to respond with a big time grab. They do have rush. They will go for it. They did open up Arkrim. I thought Arkrim was going to hold still and play the patient game. But no, they actually flinched. They tried to go for a move, and Cobra was too close to be able to do that. And just like that, Grimwood will start with the first point. I am not going to press the A button right now because Grimwood has banned Scrapyard and Via, and I think we might be going back to Muzzle. Yep, yes we. I swear, the past couple weeks, the past like 3-4 weeks of ARMS, Mausoleum has been the go-to stage. We need another stage on this set list, I swear. Everyone keeps picking Mausoleum. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, there are some stages that just suit characters more, and, you know, Arkrim generally always goes to Mausoleum because it benefits Brass a lot. But it's almost like it's pretty much every week that we see Mausoleum. Arkrim is going to start with to be fair, it's a lot closer here. Both of them are on the same kind of health, both trading blows essentially. Arm weak on that left hand side though, and Brass just has this ability where they just flinch through a lot of the stuff that gets flung their way. That was a really good dodge. Both going to go for the rush. But Arkrim was always going to be playing a bit behind there. And gets grabbed as well. The trampoline already up, and Arkrim is going to go down instantly. I couldn't even tell you what arms each of them were using there just because of how quick that entire thing went on. Arkrim going to stick with Tri-Blast and Nade. Grimwood had the popper out. I think they had something that wasn't the Toaster, but they have that one out now as well. As we get this second point underway, Grimwood looking for a clean 2-0. It was a very bumpy and bargy first point there in that confrontation where both would just literally just trade in blows. Neither really wanted to block them. Cobra is gonna get a grab, flings Brass to the floor. Brass has shield up and again gets grabbed and sent back down to the floor. Grimwood has a whole lot of momentum going in strong here, just consistently knocking Arkrim back. And Arkrim with a very good read though does catch Grimwood. Grimwood went for the trampoline. The second they hit the trampoline, Arkrim knew that they weren't going to be able to shield anything that was coming next. So really good rush there from Arkrim. But they need to not take damage here. They don't. In fact, the chip damage perma buffs Arkrim because it sent them into critical. So if anything, that works in Arkrim's favor. And Grimwood is a hit away, and that would have been a big time call, but they missed it. They whiffed the grab. And the nade explodes! It's a self-destruct KO! Oh no! The self-destruct happened, and Arkrim unfortunately cannot get back into this match. They had a great opportunity to do so. But the nade self-destructed right when Arkrim did not need it to do so. And it does mean that it's going to be Grimwood versus Replicant in winners final. And Arkrim will have to do it all again. They'll have to start the underground bracket. So we do have quite a lot of matches coming up. Iceman versus Yam and Okrum versus Yoshi Bowser in the underground bracket. They will be fighting to get into the underground semi-final match. Meanwhile, we will be going. I'm gonna just highlight Mausoleum just in case, because I feel like we're probably gonna see that in just a moment. We are gonna be going to the winners final. And this is to book their ticket into the grand final. Remember, all 3 of our finals are best of 5s. So if I just do that, and we should be good to go. So whilst everybody is queuing up, this is going to be winners final. And we're just seeing what's happening. I think they're just organizing their stage bands right now. So for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to the 35th edition of the EU Arms Challenge Cup series. We are just about to start our winners final between Grimwood and Replicant. Replicant so far having beaten Yoshi and Iceman Replicant had a bye, ignore me. Replicant beat Iceman 2-0. Grimwood also had a bye, beat Okrum 2-0, so... But quite some nervy fights in there, must be said. Okrum very much had Grimwood a good couple times, but unfortunately just last second shenanigans took it away from them in the end, so that's why we find ourselves in this position. The winner will go to the grand final, the loser will go to the underground final, but they will not be out of this tournament yet. And yep, as predicted, we are going straight back to Mausoleum. My spooky plans are Luigi's Mansion 3. Good spooky plans, I like it. Gosh, that's on the list of games that I'm gonna need to get hold of again. Yeah, I already know I need to get hold of it. So, as we gear ourselves up, Grimwood on the left, gonna still rock that wonderful Kid Cobra. And Replicant gonna continue rocking a Lollipop. So it's gonna be Toaster and the Pop versus the Hydra and the our wonderful Shock Umbrella friend as always. Replicant gonna start off by being one moving shield obstacle, and is going to quickly get another Hydra pick onto Cobra. The Hydra again, just like when it was used against Ribbon Girl, very good at being able to ground a character like Kid Cobra. And that rush, nicely done, does connect, just keeps juggling Grimwood up there. 190 damage. It may not seem like much in contrast to other rushes like this one, for example, this one going all the way up to 340, but it's that consistent juggling that just basically slows Grimwood down. It's just like, it's an annoyance more than anything. Both participants with an arm weak. Lola's on the left, Kid Cobra's on the right. Cobra's actually in critical condition now, but Replicant isn't too far away either. With 30 seconds to go, it could still change, but a shield break could really mess with them here. Cobra is just about keeping up with these arm throws that Replicant are coming in with, but this rush is going to be a very quick KO. Replicant just wanted to make absolutely sure that does happen, that does go down. And we're going to see Replicant actually make a little bit of a change here. We're going to see the Hydra and the Homie coming out. And for Grimwood, it's going to be Coolerang and Toaster. Grimwood with the rush available. You can already see trying to go up close and personal Replicant, but unfortunately gets punched out of the rush before they can even do it. It's a very risky strategy to go all the way up front, because yes, it means that your opponent has less time to react to something like a grab or a rush, but at the same time, if they are quick enough, they can and will catch you out with it. So it's a very risky strategy, and Replicant just about caught Grimwood with the tail end of the explosion. Deals 200 odd damage just with the missile explosion alone from that rush. So they weren't able to get anything else, but like I said, the explosion was just big enough to catch Grimwood, and Grimwood is a tap away. The homie will seal the deal, and Replicant will start with a 1-0 lead. So really good showing there from Replicant. Now, would anybody Replicant just double checking that yes, this is indeed a best of 5. The winners final is the first of 3 best of 5. The other 2 being the underground final and the grand final. Sparring and Dulce are banned, and to no one's surprise, we're going to Mausoleum. Ah, dear me. So Grimwood is ready. We're just waiting on Replicant now, and both are going to lock in, and Grimwood is going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. We're going to see Max Brass coming in on Mausoleum, but it's not from Arcrim, it's from Grimwood. And if anything, it's going to give Replicant a bigger target to hit, especially with the homie. Having said that, Grimwood's coming in with a homie of their own, and also coming in with that popper. So I'm going to hopefully see if they can do some juggling, and if they can, it can be some very dangerous damage, especially if that rush gets involved. Replicant thinking about dancing away on that trampoline, but going away from it now. Doesn't quite fancy seeing the trampoline today. And again, the Hydra is still a good arm against a character like Brass, because like I said, Brass has a, beefier character means bigger hitbox, so more areas to be able to hit. And it is going to get juggled though by the popper. And I love the fact that the homies are just blocking each other out. 375 damage on that rush. And Grimwood again has another explosion in their face, but is able to start slowly pegging back Replicant here, and this is going to be a big time juggle. 375, 415, and that is what you have to be so careful of. The rush is brutal. If you are in the air and Grimwood, and if a character like Brass with homie has rush available, and you are that high up in the air, you're going to get hit with 2 of these missiles, and you are going to see half your health just drop off the face of the planet. So Replicant is going to do a big time switch, going to bring in a Burchuck to see if they can stop that homie in some way, shape or form. Finally able to deal a rush, but somehow Grimwood was able to get the shield up, all of that. Still take a lot of damage as a result, but this is big time pressure, and oh, not again! That's gonna be a KO! No, it's not! 475 damage this time round, but Grimwood did not get the finishing hit. They did not get the blow that I thought would get the KO with. And with Grimwood frozen, they just about blocked the Burchuck. The homie is coming in, but it will be blocked. Grimwood just needs one more punch, and Replicant gets a big time grab, and somehow... how in the world did Replicant survive that? I thought 475 was gonna KO because it KO'd last time round. That's 415. And Grimwood is gonna drop the nade, not the nade, drop the homie and come in, and this is gonna... What? What is this match? What in the world is this match? Replicant lands a big time rush. Grimwood gets the grab initially, but gets completely shut down by the Hydra and is going to get run over by it again. The trampoline is up for debate, and Grimwood is now finding themselves in a position where one more hit and they're going down. The explosion connect just about. Grimwood has gone double popper, just as a heads up. It can work, it just basically means that Lola Pop is going to be in the air a lot of the times if they can hit. Grimwood's going to come in with the rush, and it's not going to connect in any way, shape or form. All Replica needs is one more tap, just an explosion from that homie will deal the damage. Instead, it's the Hydra that does it, and Replicant somehow gets a second point in the set, but I honestly don't think I have no words for that. I have no words for that at all. It's just... Oh. Brass dropped the homie only for Lollapop to equip the homie and immediately hit the same height as Grimwood had just hit them point before. Because of course that had to happen. That entire thing had to happen, didn't it? Oh boy. Well, that happened. Replicant is 2-0 up. It does mean that Grimwood has to do a reverse sweep if they want to go to the grand final. We are going to get a breath of fresh air. Literally, I say literally, we're going to Buster Beach. The only two stages that we have featured on this stream so far that hasn't been Mausoleum have been Buster Beach and Via Dos, which to be fair was a nice curveball because again, you know, counter picks are there so that they can be picked, but you don't always see the counter picks, so it's always nice to see either Via or Scrapyard suddenly come in. So Grimwood is going to come in with a double nade as Brass. And meanwhile, Replicant is going to stick with Lola. Going to stick with that Hydra. Going to bring in Powerball again. And look at this, just... What is this? Grimwood with a barrage of nades. Just consistently exploding one after the other. Just going tap, 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 tap against Replicant Shield. Who's just like, yeah, just keep this up, please. I don't mind. Grimwood is going to come in with the rush, and again, it's just going to be greeted with another Replicant Shield, who now has a rush available of their own choosing. Is going to go for the pop, but it's not going to connect with it. Grimwood has shield up in time this time. And it's a very stalemate kind of match so far. Finally, two nades do go through. Grimwood will take just a little initial advantage. And again, the rat-a-tap taps against the shield begins. Grab is going to get punched through and baited out though. Grimwood was hoping for something like that. Does connect with the rush, forcing Lola into that corner, and the explosion keeps him there. Finally does. Cartwheel straight back out. And Replicant now a couple hits away. Grimwood definitely has much more of a decent stand here on this stage. And the Hydra is just going to miss. The Brawler does hit, but not charged, so no shocks this time round. Replicant pretty much a punch away from going down, and the nade does indeed do the trick. And Grimwood will start with a point. It's exactly the start they needed, but now they need to convert that into an actual score. Replicant, are we going to see the return of that homie? I think we are. Hydra homie combination coming up. And Replicant's going to hope for a big time rush coming up, but they're going to have to take all of this from Grimwood first. 425. I've only just realized that Grimwood has also switched into a homie. I thought they were running double nade again. They weren't. They were running a homie. 245 from Replicant is just about able to punch through Grimwood's grab, and both back on similar health again. Replicant is going to get knocked down with another explosion and another. And they have to be very careful here because again, you might be able to block out one of those hits, but if you forget about the explosion, it can disrupt you big time. Both in KO percentage here, and there it is. The big explosion. Grimwood gets a point, which is exactly what they needed. But they've still got a long way to go here. It is 2-1 in winners final. Grimwood is going to ban merging Brass with ban. It's always good. Is going to ban Scrapyard and DNA, and Replicant is going to pick Temple Grounds. A little breath of fresh air for today. We are going to see what is our 4th stage in this stream so far. We're going to Temple Grounds. Grimwood, sticking with Brass. Replicant, sticking with Lola. Will we see some arm switches, or are we just going to have... yeah, I think it's going to be one of those sets where it's just explosions. Explosions everywhere. Replicant, gonna come in with a Hydra Phoenix. Grimwood, gonna come in with double nade. And obviously, unlike the 3 stages that we've had so far, where it's just been nice and open and no obstacles in your way, we got obstacles this time. We got ourselves 4 pillars. They will go down over time. With each hit, they will weaken, and as they crumble down, they will not respawn once we go into the next point. So once they're down, they're down. Grimwood is the first with rush available, but Lola quickly sidesteps all the way to the pillar. Grimwood realizes what they've done. Oh, what's going on here? We have a pause. Alright, both have stopped in the, I say the middle of the stage, it's not really a middle of the stage. Grimwood has asked if we can restart, so it's, okay, so it looks like from the fighter's point of view, so apparently Grimwood has had internet issues, so we're going to get a reset here, so this point is not going to count. There's been a technical issue on Grimwood's side. It's just been relayed from the Discord, so that is exactly what is going to be happening. So Grimwood is going to allow Replicant to take the point by the looks of it. And we are just going to get this. Yep, there it is. Connection with Grimwood has been lost. So this point is going to not count. We will have a redo here, which means we will return to Temple Grounds here. Replicant and Grimwood will have to fight again. And yeah, as you can see, Grimwood has full on left the lobby. So hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. Hopefully it's not... Like I said, just relaying information from the Discord. Just after that had happened, Grimwood just immediately writing in, going, the internet's... Yeah. Unfortunately, these things happen. This is one of the risks that we do run in running an online tournament. You know, most of the time it's fine. Technical issues happen from a variety of different standpoints, whether it's an internet connection, or the game just full on collapses on you, or your PC decides to apply a Windows update without telling you, which I think has happened before. It's never great. I think there's a lot of people out there who knows firsthand, whether it's been from streaming or from doing stuff like homework and whatnot, where Windows has suddenly just shut down without warning. It's like, thanks guys. So, you know, these things happen. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, and it certainly won't be the last time that it happens. But yeah, we're just gonna have a little bit of a pause. So we are still in the midst of winners final, just as a heads up. Just cutting to here for the time being as we await the return. When Grimwood does come back, we will continue on where we left off. So it is currently 2-1 to Replicant. Replicant needs one more win to book their ticket into Grand Final. Grimwood has managed to peg one back, but like I said, Grimwood does need to do the full reverse sweep. They were 2-0 down. It's 2-1 at the moment, so they're looking for another win. Meanwhile, we can tell you in the underground bracket, Iceman is out. I swear Iceman has some sort of unlucky charm when it comes to... an unlucky curse even, when it comes to the Challenge Cup, because since Iceman won one of the Challenge Cups quite a while back, they've had rotten luck since. It's not been going well for them. They lose to Yam in a close set, it must be said. It went 2-1, but Iceman is unfortunately out, and Okrim beat Yoshi Bowser 2-0. So Iceman and Yoshi are your casualties in the underground bracket. So the underground semi-final, which as a reminder is a best of 3, is going to be between Yam and Okrim. And the winner of that will go to the underground final. The loser will finish in 4th place, just outside of the top 3. And the winner of that match will go up against the loser of the winners final, which we are currently streaming, which is between Grimwood and Replicant. It should also be noted that Grimwood and Replicant have already booked a top 3 finish by being in the winners final, because if you lose the winners final, you drop to underground final, and if you lose that, you're in 3rd place because the winner goes up to the grand final. So getting to winners final basically means you're top 3 whatever happens, which is always nice. So yeah, once we get an update on that, we will let you know what will be going on. In the meantime, I'm just going to have a quick look at everyone who's chilling around. And there's a lot of you in chat as it is, so it's always good to see. Going on about the gloves and Halloween, which is always nice. Like I said, it is Halloween week. I'm looking forward to it myself. Also, I do apologise if people are being banned and kicked from Nightbot. Nightbot does have like a command thing in a moderation thing in place. So if anybody has been kicked because of emote spam and whatnot, do apologise. You know, we are allowed to celebrate hype moments in here, so just one of those things. We are back. Grimwood is back. They have switched, because of the fact that Grimwood dropped, they have switched. I'll just really update that for you now. So now it is Replicant on the left and Grimwood on the right. And we're going to start exactly as we left off. So no arm changes, no character changes. The first point will be played in the exact same manner. So Lollipop with Hydra Phoenix and Grimwood with a double nade. And already those two pillars are straight away down. Grimwood has rush available first, just like he was last time round. Replicant just gonna keep that shield up for as long as possible. Nade explosion, goes for the rush, gets the confirm, and scores a big 300. It was exactly what they needed. But they are going to take a 345 rush from Replicant in response, or pretty much immediately. And another explosion sends our bubbly clown back just that little bit further, but they're not out of this yet. Phoenix is able to fly, pretty much fly straight around those nades if they're not caught out. And the Hydra, well, we know what the Hydra could do. Here, the grab literally punched through that third pillar. And then Lola, unfortunately, was in the wrong place. Gets a big time hug from Brass. And Brass is working their way toward that reverse sweep. Both are going to come out with a homie. So, yeah, I hope you really like explosions. There's going to be an awful lot of them here. Rush coming out from Grimwood, but it's not going to connect. So you will not see anyone flying this time round. Nade and the homie, big time explosions. Like I said, Replicant has a homie of their own, keeping that Hydra to just be able to pepper Brass just a little bit more. If they can get anything with it though, they'll definitely try and go for a rush. They do have it available, they've got a ways to go, but like I said, if you can connect 2 missiles on that rush, it is a game changer. That grab from Grimwood just about avoiding Replicant, and that is going to be that big rush. 395 if anything. That was a little unfortunate there. Replicant got the big damage that they wanted. The Hydra inadvertently put Grimwood back onto the ground, and Grimwood had enough time to get a shield up and block the rest of it. But they've still got the damage that they needed. Arm does go down, that's a shield break, but just about recovers in time. It's going to get grabbed as a result. And with 30 seconds to go, Grimwood's got it all to do. Both pretty much exchange homies. Grimwood forcing Replicant all the way into that corner. They're going to think about going for that rush maybe, or they're going to hold on to it. No, they will hold on to it now, especially with 16 seconds to go. Replicant will tie this up. If anything though, Replicant is on set point. If Replicant wins this point, they are through to the grand final. Replicant gonna stick with Hydra Homie. Grimwood gonna stick as well with Homie Nade. They are the ones with Rush available. They're gonna go for it, but I felt like that was too early. I think Replicant already knew that Grimwood would probably try and do something like that. It was just, well, not only were they far enough back, they easily had enough time to get a shield up. Very patient play from Replicant. And it means now that Replicant is the one with an advantage on their side. Obviously, they've got the Hydra just consistently going vertical. Like, obviously, the longer it throws, the longer it goes, the higher those bolts end up becoming. And as it stands, Brass is just about able to keep Replicant under control. Grimwood has already got their rush back, and Replicant hasn't used theirs at all yet. So Grimwood has another chance at this, providing they can get themselves in a better position. This time round, the Hydra runs through Grimwood's grab attempts and floors the big man. And it's going to also connect with a homie as well. So Replicant just keeping that center stage, keeping that advantage with 30 seconds to go. All they need to do is just catch Grimwood into a position like this. Big time explosion. Not going to get the second, but essentially Grimwood is a hit away. Big time rush coming, but it's not going to connect in time. Replicant gets the Hydra hit just as Brass commits. Replicant wins 3 points to 1 and is through to the grand final of the Challenge Cup. Grimwood will have to fight all over again in the Underground final. And Okrim unfortunately will not be able to continue either, and this is actually quite surprising. Okrim beat Yam 2 points to 1 in the first round in the tournament. But Yam has gotten their revenge. They've beaten Okrim in the Underground semi-final 2 points to 0. So Yam is through to the Underground final. Yeah. So it does mean that the Underground final is going to be our next match coming up. And it will be between Grimwood and Yam. Okay, so first and foremost, hopefully everyone is having a good time here. We are gearing up for our Underground final, which will be between Grimwood and Yam. This is our second best of 5 of this tournament. All of the best of 3 sets are done and dusted. This will decide the order of the top 3. The loser of this set will finish in 3rd place. The winner will advance to the grand final for a second go at trying to win the EU Arms Challenge Cup. This is our 35th edition. Whatever happens, somebody different is going to be winning this, because our last 2 winners of Riffa and Yada are both not competing today. So, Replicant has already booked their ticket into the grand final. Who will meet them? Will it be the person who has finished second the last 2 times, Grimwood, or will it be someone completely different in the form of Yam? We are going to find out. Yam was knocked down into the underground bracket by Arkrim, 2 points to 1. Yam went on to beat Iceman 2-1 and then got their revenge on Arkrim, beating them 2-0. Grimwood, meanwhile, beat Arkrim 2-0 and then lost to Replicant 3-1, and that's why they find themselves in this position. We are, to no one's surprise, going to start on Mausoleum. Mausoleum has been the stage of not just today, but the past few weeks. It's definitely been a very much a mainstay stage. Yam gonna be coming in as Min Min on the left. Get that switched up, and Grimwood will be rocking Max Brass on the right, going double chiller Brass. Meanwhile, Yam is going to come in with a Roaster, and our wonderful Brawler as always. It's going to be our windy variant, not the shot. And these are both going to be very interesting characters going up against each other here. Obviously, both do like to play that kind of aggressive style. Obviously, Min Min operates better once they get that dragon arm up, that perma boost to their left arm, but it does get reset if they get knocked down, and a grab from Brass will certainly do that to you. Mausoleum isn't exactly a place you can run and hide, but with Grimwood having very much committed onto their arms, Yam had just enough time to get that charge back up. Just make it that makes it that little bit bigger, that little bit scarier. And Grimwood, meanwhile, just trying to be intimidating, staying on that center stage. Baiting, however. 345, well played from Yam, very good read. But Grimwood is going to now fully commit to a very aggressive push off their own. Managed to somehow force Yam to get a shield up in all of that, and Yam will take advantage with a Roaster to the face. That was a really good play there from Yam though. Was able to just bait Grimwood to come in for that aggressive play and then just fully committed to the rush. Max Brass had no way of being able to get around that. Grimwood going to come in with a Chakram and Nade. Yam is going to just immediately backflip and perma-charge that Roaster, but it's going to get knocked down by an explosion. And again, another one forces them back down onto their back. And Yam trying to play this aggressive tactic with Brass, but Brass is just having none of it, just flinching off most of these attacks. But the Brawler is going to connect, does send Brass just a little bit far away. That's what that wonderful element does. Because each of the gloves in this game has an elemental attribute. And Grimwood gonna fully commit to this rush. Can they force a shield break? They cannot. Both of those arms are weak. And look at that from Grimwood, able to just about snipe Yam out, and another quick succession of hits. And all Grimwood needs is a big time grab or punch, and that would very much do it for them. But the trampoline is going to be on display as Yam sends the back Roaster, just not quite landed. And Grimwood, they've got quite the big health lead here, but with 30 seconds to go, and if Yam can hit a couple more of these, you never know, especially with Rush not too far away. Grimwood might have Rush now, but no, there you go. There's the grab that they were after. Yam was playing very patiently there towards the end, but Brass finally overcoming it, forcing Yam into an error and tying up this point. And both committed to rush. Grimwood got an initial punch, and Yam is gonna just send Brass quickly back to the other side, and Grimwood is stationary. I think we've got another connection issue, I think. Yep, Grimwood is not moving, and Yam is just gonna pepper. It looks like, yep. And looks like we're gonna have, now, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to count, because in the fact that we were very much well into that set, it was one apiece there. It ends with Yam's win. We're just going to wait to see if this is going to be another redo or if that is going to count for Yam. It does look like it was another connection issue for Grimwood, which is unfortunate. And like I said, sometimes it's just what happens. If there's an issue going on in your respective area, there's nothing you can do about it. It sucks, and you feel like crap when it happens. But at the end of the day, it's not your fault. You're literally doing everything you can. So we are just going to wait on a decision for this. I don't know if this will be a point for Yam. Like I said, we were very much into that set. We got all the way through. So we will see. So whilst we await for the decision and the results on that side of things, I'd like to thank everybody who has came around so far, and I also like to give a quick shout out to those who run stuff behind the scenes. Obviously, European Arms, the European Arms scene does indeed have their own Discord. They've got their own Twitter where they share the stuff out. Restart and do a connection test on the Switch. Score stays. Is the information that we're getting here, so we'll sort that out as soon as we can. But yeah, literally thank you all for everyone who's come by, whether you come by frequently, whether you're from the Discord, whether you're coming in from social media, or if you're brand new here and you're joining us for the first time. We are always glad to have you, so thank you very much. And literally everybody who organizes these tournaments. Obviously, none of us, players, viewers, and commentators alike, would not be here without all of you. So thank you all very much. It's always a lot of fun. We are going to do a quick little intermission here. I do apologize for doing the break mid round, but it is one of those things, and unfortunately it's these kind of things happen. So I am going to cut to a intermission real quick, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We will see you in just a moment. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a good time. We are back here with the underground final. It is Yam versus Grimwood. Grimwood's internet gremlins have finally been defeated, we hope. The game, as a heads up, does stand, so Yam is leading the underground final 1-0. Remember, it is a best of 5. And we are going to see a return of Buster Beach as the bands come up. Spawn Ring and Via were the bands. So, match number 2. Sorry for those of you who were waiting. Unfortunately, these things do happen. Not every stream can go without a without some form of a hitch. And this time around, the internet gremlins like to do their thing. Yam is on the left as Min. Grimwood on the right with Max Brass. It is 1-0 for Yam. That point does stand. So match number 2 is underway. And remember, this is for a place in the grand final. Min coming in with Roaster and the Brawler, with Grimwood coming in with Toaster and the Thunderbird. He's gonna get a quick roast to the face. We're going to try and play that a little bit more aggressively here. We just can't quite get the aim right. Grab just about missing onto that right hand side. It's finally going to get a nice little bit of a toasting, but Yam very much in a good position so far, but he's going to get caught by not 1 but 2 big time grabs from Grimwood, who is very much shaking off those internet gremlins and comes in with a 3rd grab. And nearly got a 4th, but Yam punching through it, not going to allow it to happen this time around. Both went for the rush, and it's Grimwood who's going to get the better of the exchange. 160 in the end, another big time grab, and suddenly, well, this very much became a literal grab fest as Grimwood takes the first point in, yeah, that's a pretty decent bounce back, not going to lie. Then we're going to stick with that Thunderbird Toaster. Yam going to come in with the Roaster and that Brawler. So we're going to stick with this combination. Definitely thinks it can work in this matchup. And they're definitely going to have to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more aware of Grimwood's grab-tastic playstyle, because there was some very clean grabs in there. Of that, there is no doubt. And Yam forced back into that corner again. And here we go! Grimwood with yet another grab. And both managing to knock each other away from the corner. But Yam again caught with another big time rush. Yam in critical condition, only just gets the rush charged up now, and Brass is going to avoid it. Nope, never mind. Drops straight in to the second go around, 310. But Yam still has a fair amount of work to do here. Grimwood only just dropping underneath half health. And Yam does manage to get a little bit of a hit with that roast. Grimwood is so close here. Oh, we got another. For a second I thought we were going to have another standoff, but not this time. Both continue to go. And Grimwood's Thunderbird unfortunately just hit that little raised platform there, so Yam avoids a good shock. And Grimwood suddenly is only a hit away from going down. Yam has rush available, but will try and hold on. But this is not what they want. Not with 10 seconds to go, and has to commit to the rush, but has to block it instead, and drops the shield. They could have just taken the rest of the chip damage, but they tried to move away, and in doing so, opens them up to that rush that was still ongoing. I think they thought that Grimwood would have stopped, and it is 1 apiece in the underground final. So Grimwood bouncing back from the internet issues and secures themselves a point that puts them right back in the set. So Scrapyard and DNA Lab is going to be banned from Grimwood. We're going to get ourselves ready for match number 3 of our second best of 5 set. And we're going to see Temple Grounds. So no duplicate picks in this set just yet so far. So we've gone from Mausoleum to Buster Beach to Temple Grounds. And both of our players just figuring out how they want to tackle this, where they want to go with this. Grimwood came in with a vengeance in there, coming out with some very, very on point grabs there, and some in quite the streak there as well. We had like a 3-4 grab streak from Brass during that first point. Brass is going to come in with a double toaster, so trying to heat up the noodles. Meanwhile, Yam is going in with a Slapamander and a Brawler if they can stay on their feet long enough to get it perma-charged up, and finally does get Grimwood slapped down, comes in with a second one. Obviously going to use that to curve around these pillars where possible. Just give Max just a quick little slap on the cheek. And 70 seconds on the clock, and already Grimwood caught out by the shocking nature of that Brawler. That's exactly what it's designed to do. But just gonna just plant firmly there just behind that pillar. Finally just go down, so they'll have to move away. And so far the double toaster is not proven as effective as they probably would have liked to, and the rush calculated, or predicted rather, by Yam, who gets a shield up with plenty of time to spare. And that was a very good shot. Couldn't quite take full advantage. Neither could they fully do anything with that rush either, so unfortunately there from Yam. They had a good opportunity, not once but twice, to take advantage, but just fell short on both entries. Having said that, with 15 seconds to go, they do still have health lead, and that will be a KO. Shocked right through the grab. That's going to be a now convert into a grab of their own, and that gives them the point that they were after, but they're still not over yet. And Brass is going to commit to that rush early, and Yam again fully predicting it. Umbrella gets the shock, and that's another big time grab for Yam. He's going to stick with that same loadout. Obviously Grimwood done a complete overhaul. Went from double toaster to nade Thunderbird, which to be fair should be a little bit better if a combination does get the shock. Thunderbird does exactly what it needs to do, and the grab will do the rest of it for Brass, and a good old explosion. But unfortunately, overcommitted there with that aggressive play. Yam punishes it with a rush to boot. You just feel if Yam can get another shock, that would really swing it for them, but they couldn't take advantage of it. And it does mean Grimwood is in critical condition, and that shock into a grab combination will not get the KO. Grimwood pretty much on 1 HP. One more hit will take them down. Grimwood gonna commit, gets the big time grab. Can they follow up with a rush and keep themselves in this? They can indeed. Will it be a KO? It is a KO. Down goes Min Min, and it is 1 apiece. That was exactly what Grimwood needed. Min Min thinking about where they want to go with this. Grimwood is actually going to go double nade. Double nade for Max Brass. And Yam to retake that advantage. Well, they need to try and keep Brass in that corner as much as possible if they can. Just slow down the big guy. But that grab is not going to help them. The rush does come out, but then again, not really able to get all of what they want with that. Brass got sent too far back, and Neyman was still in the process of readjusting from that grab avoid. And Brass, the second he gets hold of you, he can just completely turn this whole momentum onto its head, but it's not going to work this time round. Try to get another quick little juggle, but Min Min this time did hit the floor before the rush could connect, so it's a wasted opportunity. But they do have such a big health lead. Yam has to play quite the patient game, but not too patient. They've got 30 seconds to do this. But if they can keep forcing these self-destructs, and maybe get a better connection with this rush that they have now, they could turn the tides, but, well, no they don't. No they can't. The nade immediately hits, it explodes at their feet, Min Min goes all the way down, and Grimwood is very much back into this. Now leads 2 points to 1. And who would have thought all it took was for an internet issue for Grimwood to turn the tables. Grimwood looking to book their ticket into the grand finals for the 3rd straight Challenge Cup in a row. And same bands, same stage. We are actually going to get a duplicate this time around. We're going back to Temple Grounds. Actually, out of curiosity, did they get to the grand final the previous time as well? I'm just going to quickly have a check now. whilst all of this is going on. Just you never know. As we prepare ourselves for match number 4, Min Min's going to come straight back in with the same setup, amusingly enough, and immediately gets that shock on Grimwood. Grimwood going to come in with a slightly different setup of their own here. Is that Coolerang and Toaster? It certainly is. They're going to get themselves shocked and grabbed though, so Yam starting with an advantage already. And I can see what Grimwood was going for. Obviously the Coolerang can still fly around those pillars whilst they're still up. It's good to cause a little bit of pressure. Obviously the freeze really does hinder quite a lot, but we've seen how effective the setup from Yam so far has been with this Brella slap. And so far Yam is once again in control with this kind of combination. Brass just narrowly avoided the Brella shot. Comes in with the rush, but Yam is already going to have that predicted. Completely blocks that off. Grimwood just hanging back just a little bit round. Doesn't want to give Yam too much space. And does manage to somewhat predict Yam's rush, but it's going to go foul to a lot of that as well. That's a shot, a quick little slap. And Grimwood is essentially a punch away. They are in this perma buff state now that they are into critical condition. So it's just the question of can Yam find this finishing blow. Having said that, with 10 seconds to go, I think this is too tall of an order for Grimwood. Yeah, there's no way Grimwood is getting anything back of that. They're just going to dance from the corner. They know that there's no way back into it from here. And Yam will take the first point via a timeout. It means that Yam is very much not out of this yet. If they can win this one, we'll go into a 5th match. And Grimwood committed to the rush, broke the pillar, but Yam, well, like I said, Grimwood had to break that pillar first before they could really hit Yam, so it's not bad from Yam. And, well, we've seen this tactic before, just raining nades against the shield. And that Yam just has to be patient there, just has to hope that the gauntlet stops at some point. Yam is going to get flung straight into that corner, and Grimwood going to try and play as aggressive as possible. Is going to just about get away from that rushing time. Comes in with one of their own, and it hits square where it needs to. 290 damage, both now having to recharge all the way from the get-go. Yam does get Grimwood down, but unfortunately as a result of that entire trade goes down into critical. And they seriously cannot take another one of those nades to the face. This is where Max Brass is very scary, where they force you into a corner and they're just raining big explosive arms in your face. There's only so many you can dodge, there's only so many you can block before one explosion takes you out. It does mean that we are now in a position where if Grimwood can win this point, the match will be over. So Yam will need to do everything they can to take this to match number 5, both with rush readily available. Brass with double nades still. Yam still going to rock that brawler, but it's going to get grabbed again and forced down, and Grimwood just about able. That was beautifully done. They anticipated Yam to go for that rush. They got out of the way in the nick of time, and because Yam was already close to that corner as it was, knew that a rush at that point would be critical, and it certainly was. And whilst Yam isn't out of this yet, they've got to really find a way of twisting this momentum back on its head. The Brawler just can't seem to get through. The grab does miss, but Grimwood won't mind that at all. In fact, he uses it as an excuse to get the arms back as quickly as possible and fire in a rush. Yam is a punch away from going down, does get the permacharge up on the Brawler. Avoids one nade, blocks the other, does force a quick self-destruct in. Grimwood is slowly approaching KO range, but it's not going to matter. The nade explodes in Min Min's face, and Grimwood has booked their ticket into the grand final yet again. So, Grimwood, who last won this cup back in number 32, who then went second in the 33rd entry, went second in the 34th entry, finds themselves in the grand final again, hoping to reclaim that title, but standing in their way is the person who sent them down into the underground bracket in the first place, which is, of course, Replicant. So all to play for then, isn't it? Oh, hopefully everyone is having an amazing time, and like I said, that really has been like a string for Grimwood at this point, but commiserations to Yam, they've certainly played amazingly well. They will take a fighting third after all is said and done, as we now prepare ourselves for the grand final. So, for those of you who are new here, the grand final will play out like this. It is a best of 5, just like every other set, every other final set so far, with a slight twist, naturally. Grimwood comes up from the underground bracket and Replicant hasn't lost yet. If Replicant loses to Grimwood and Grimwood forces the 3-0 victory, we get ourselves a bracket reset and we gotta do it all over again. We're going straight back to Mausoleum. Remember, if Replicant can win, then the tournament is over and Replicant is your champion. We're going straight back to Mausoleum because naturally, where else? As we get ourselves ready to go. It should be noted that Grimwood does have quite the streak at this point, it must be said. They have been in the grand final since the 32nd entry of this cup where they last won it. Since then, like I said, it was a second place in 33, second place in 34, and now they're back here again. So, who knows how this is all going to play out. Replicant is going to come in with a Gusher, so it's always nice to see a little bit of a different arm type, and Grimwood meanwhile coming in with double Roasters. So a lot of unguided territory here as our first match is underway. And for those of you who don't quite know how the Gusher works, basically it bounces. So you know how Lollipop, that's pretty much her key ability? Well, she's got an arm that does that too. Grimwood's going to commit to a full-on aggressive push early on, gets the rush to connect on Replicant, who already finds themselves in critical condition, and does manage to just about land on Grimwood. It wasn't the last thing that hit with the Gusher though. If it does, you'll see that poison stack applied to Grimwood, which we'll mention if we see it pop up. You'll definitely know it pops up because Grimwood will turn purple and you'll see a bunch of wands start leaking from his body. Replicant a punch away from going down to Grimwood already. Does have rush, but they'll likely save it for the next point because there's a lot to try and turn around in 30 seconds. With that kind of health deficit, although they are starting to get there, the Hydra is finally starting to work against Brass, but it's very late on into the match. 20 seconds to go. The grab not quite reaching on Replicant there, so Grimwood will have to keep fighting. 10 seconds to go. Replicant actually goes for the rush here. Does connect with a 195, but that was not enough damage as they'd have probably liked to. Does get a grab, but it won't be enough to get anywhere close to Replicant's H-bar. It was an unfortunate wasted opportunity there for Replicant. And Grimwood is going to take that first initial advantage in this match as we prepare ourselves for point number 2. And Grimwood fires immediately in with 300 damage. And Replicant really does have it all to do. They've switched the Gusher out into a Seiki. So, you know the homie? Well, basically it's that, but with an electrical explosion instead of just a normal explosion. So, if that thing self-destructs, you'll definitely see the result of it, because Replicant would now also be shocked. So, you know, you never know how it'll go. Grimwood just about holding back just a little bit now, but it is going to get caught out by the explosion. And with the Seiki, it's a lot more dangerous. If, like, with the homie, if you drop your shield and you get caught by the explosion, you just get knocked back. If you get caught by the Seiki explosion, you've essentially just gifted your opponent a free grab. And Grimwood went for a grab, activated rush, thinking that they could catch Replicant out, but in actual fact they did not at all. And that is going to be a lot of damage coming up here. 460. And Replicant, just like that, has turned this match on its head. All they need is one more punch and they can take Grimwood out and force themselves into yet another point. The Hydra just can't seem to land though, and neither can the Roaster. Both of these two are just trading blows that just won't land, and finally the Hydra pegs it. But again, Lola just big time juggling. If the Hydra sends you flying, you're in trouble. And obviously with the Seiki, obviously it still has that missile rush deadliness. So the second Grimwood got paralyzed, Replicant went, well, this is my time for a nice chunky bit of damage. As we see this match go one apiece already. Grimwood just can't quite find the blows that they need. They have switched out one of those Roasters for a Chakram, so hopefully try and play the stun game. Does jump over Replicant's punch, gets 315, then sends the Clown back just that little bit more. But remember, that Seiki is still an absolute force to be reckoned with, especially if Replicant can find a way through. If they can get a shock on Grimwood, you know a rush will follow. And it nearly did, but not this time round. It's the Hydra that's going to peg them just a bit. Rush comes in. The explosion just about stops Grimwood, who was centimeters away from getting that grab connect. Grimwood is in critical condition and now a punch away from going down and jumps straight into that Seiki. And Replicant really had to fight for that one, but will start this set with the lead. Will take one advantage. But that, I think that was definitely a lot closer than Replicant would have liked it to be. Had to really rely on some very key moments there. That missile, like I said, it missed, but again, don't underestimate the size of the explosion that can deal in rush. In the rush. Because yeah, Brass was on their way away. I thought they realized that, oh, this is an advantage, but they were still just a little too close to that explosion. So that's just how it goes. So Replicant will take the first advantage going in to this best of 5 grand final. Sparring Ring and Dulce are your bans for this one. Although I feel like it's going to be... Oh no, it's not. We're going to Buster. That's nice to see. So from Mausoleum to Buster Beach. Buster is the choice from Grimwood. Remember, it's the loser who gets to pick what stage we go to. The winner gets to ban 2 stages first. So you get the general idea. So Grimwood and Replicant going straight back into this. Brass versus Lola, pretty much the way it's been for most of this tournament. Grimwood gonna rock in with a chiller and a roaster, so gonna keep with the punchy gloves, but now one of them is gonna be a little bit more, well, cool, shall we say. Replicant, meanwhile, gonna come in with a Tri-Blast and a Seeky, a combination that I've used quite a lot with other characters, so always nice to see it be used, and obviously Lollipop with her bouncy nature will likely take a full effect of the different attacks that you can do with this combination. It's going to fall foul to a quick grab from Grimwood, both on relatively same health though, and now both with rush available, so who's going to blink first? It will be Brass, who unfortunately is set up big time, 410 damage, and that was not how Grimwood wanted that to go at all. They jumped, they went for the rush, but they were caught by the Seeky explosion again, and Replicant went, yes please, free rush. That's not going to be close enough for a grab, but Blast will just about hit, and Grimwood just full on pinned in that corner. We call it a hot pocket for a reason, because if you're in the pocket, you get hot. And Grimwood is unfortunately falling behind bit by bit by bit. They're going to switch to double explosions. It's nade time. In fact, yeah, pretty much. Even if you count the, even if you don't count the Seeky as an explosive arm, it is an explosive arm because it explodes. And it's one of those more unique arms where it does two things at once because it's a missile. Of course, it's going to explode. And Grimwood trying to go straight in for that nade. But again, the rush is not able to connect. Replicant's able to predict it and just sit there and take it all. Shield does finally break and Grimwood's pressure does pay off. But Replicant, no, not going to get any of that rush this time round. Grimwood was a little bit more patient, waited for Replicant to go for the jump, and just completely got around it. And Replicant thought that there was going to be a rush coming. Grimwood using that big old statue of Brass to just intimidate everyone. Replicant is a punch away from going down, drops the shield a little too early, and the explosion will take them out. It is one apiece in this point. But Grimwood does need to crucially win this next one to tie up the set, and is going to connect with a very early rush. 280 damage. Replicant has got it all to do. And once they were able to get a quick little peg there on Grimwood, they weren't able to get anything else. Grimwood using this chance to just buff up as quickly as possible. The Seeky dropped right in front of them. I thought it might have been close enough to get the shot, but not quite. Grimwood not going to go foul to that one this time round. Both with rush available, and another nade explosion, and Replicant just about in critical condition. And finally gets in there for real this time. And again, another nade explosion, and Grimwood feels the end is near, comes in with the grab, and Grimwood, just like in the Underground final, starts pegging it back. It's one apiece. It's not spam, it's pressure. Yeah, and it's pushing down on them. Okay, so the bans are coming up thick and fast. These two players know exactly what they want to see. They know exactly what they want to get rid of because, you know, some stages just don't really work with certain playstyles. And for the first time this stream, we are going to DNA Lab. DNA Lab on the stream for the first time today. Always nice to see. Thank you very much. So if you like Temple Grounds and its 4 pillars, well, DNA Lab's got you covered. It's bigger and it's got 6. And obviously with these two, they're not going to switch in with anything that curves around these tubes. They're just going to stick with the arms that work for their characters respectively. So you'll probably see these tubes go down very, very quickly. Grimwood is going to be the first one under pressure though, going straight down. And Replicant is actually going to switch. Replicant switches from Lollipop to Min Min. So no more waddling around this time round. We're just going to come in, get that Dragon Arm charged up as quickly as possible. Coming in with that Toaster and that Brawler. Going to go for the shock factor as always. Meanwhile, Brass, double nade, big explosions, or go home. It's as simple as that. And Grimwood is doing their absolute best to keep up all this pressure, but it's not working just yet. They may have the permabuff state, but they're also a punch away from going down. And we've only just hit the 50-second mark. And Replicant, they didn't need to necessarily go for the rush, but at the same time, they felt like momentum was suddenly starting to swing towards Brass. They saw the opportunity and they went for it. They had to take that. Brass buffs straight up. Replicant, yes, does have to charge this all the way back around, but they're confident enough. They're confident enough to really go for this. They're going to dance around this tube. It's the traditional DNA lab dance. It's what a lot of people are very much accustomed to, as one tube finally does go down. And again, the Replicant, just in the right place at the right time, is in midair, has already avoided one glove, and the Toaster is just quick enough to just immediately shut Brass down before they can do anything else. Rush is going to come up, is going to get the drop on Replicant this time around, 295 damage as the nade explodes harmlessly against Replicant's shield, and again, Grab isn't going to go ahead and pick them this time around, just on the bottom of the steps. Replicant using Min Min's agility to really go for it, try to go for the rush. Somehow, Grimwood's explosions did not cancel out Replicant. I'm surprised at that because I'm pretty sure that landed as close to Rep as possible. But no, it did not stop the rush at all. Grimwood in critical condition is starting to get a couple of peg backs on Replicant, but it's only a hit or two away from going down themselves. That Brother really loosely just flinging out there. 23 seconds to go. Grimwood, big time grab. It's exactly what they need. They have a rush available. If they could just about force the opportunity, they're taking a big time risk. Rushing very close to that tube. Both in critical condition. 10 seconds to go. Big time grab! Big time grab from Grimwood. Keeps this set alive. Boy, oh boy. I cannot believe that is how that point ends. We're going to go to a final round on this one. Remember, it's one apiece in the set as it is. Grimwood gives Replicant a chance to get that Perma-Dragon buff up. As we start unloading yet again. More fire, more electricity, and more big time rushes at the corner of the stage. The tube does go down. Grimwood doesn't take all of it as a result. So, you never know which way some of these matches are going here, as Grimwood tries to keep up the pressure with this double roaster setup. And sounds like they're just about getting a couple of key moments, but they're going down time and time again. Replicant is not allowing Grimwood to get a hit, and finally does so. It's the chill. Here comes another one. I've only just realized I said double roaster when it's actually a roaster and a chiller, which is why, there's a chill in there. Another big time grab from Grimwood, who is just literally going for the grab pressure. Just grab after grab after grab. Gets a hit with the roaster, goes for a grab again. Gonna immediately retract their arms with their rush. So as a result, it cancels out each other. Chip damage activates the permabuff status for Grimwood and sends Replicant into a big time panic. One more hit on Replicant, and Replicant is going down. And Grimwood turning the tables. Not feeling like going out of this just yet. It's 2-1 in the grand final. My word, what a... That was a weird match. Oh boy. So, that entire thing just happened. Every now and then I think it might be going in one way, in one specific way. But no, naturally, it just doesn't. Brass with a rush on the tube, just about gets away with it, and then gets a grab to secure the point. Because of course. So it is 2-1 in the best of 5 grand final. As we await Grimwood to ban and Replicant. Just waiting on Replicant to let us know what stage we are going to be going to. And we are going to go DNA again. So we're going to make up the DNA lab only being done once so far this stream. But doing it a second time, because that's what we do around here. Grimwood is in a position where if they can win, we will force ourselves a reset. Would you believe it? Because of course, with how this final is going so far, you never know. Min is going to come back out on the side of Replicant. Going to bring in a nade and a normal dragon. That's always going to be nice to see. Grimwood going to come in with, once again, the double nade combination. So, 3 nades and a dragon. Not going to lie. That's always nice. And Grimwood gonna immediately start off with a big time grab. Sends Replicant to the corner and Min gonna do their usual dance around the DNA tubes. And is gonna try and play a lot more of a ranged game here, especially with the dragon, since the dragon, the further back you go, the more you can pepper and annoy your opponents, and especially if it's fully charged up. It's always kind of nice to see the not ice variant, just because we see the ice dragon so many times, and obviously if it connects and you chill, it's very much annoying. So going for a little bit more power over the actual element. Meanwhile, Replicant gets grabbed again by Grimwood and just immediately goes to the other side and dances around the tubes yet again, but cannot get away from the grabs that Grimwood is throwing in. And try and pepper again with the dragons, but they're just being forced down at every opportunity. And Grimwood is on their way to resetting this bracket, my friends. 1 more point for Grimwood, and this is going to be a reset. Replicant gonna again get that charge up on the dragon arm and gets a very well timed shot on Grimwood, and the nade is just about able to get there and take the explosion hit. Replicant starting this a significantly better than that first point, and is able to block out Grimwood's rush as well, and comes in with one of their own. 300, make that 420 as we come past 69 seconds to go. Grimwood finds themselves in that perma buff status, and Replicant is very much not out of this yet. We're probably going to lose that tube. There it goes. 1 more hit on Grimwood is all Replicant will need. It's 1 apiece. And Replicant doing everything they can to make sure that this does not go any further. But they still need that point. But a roaster hit will make sure Replicant can't perma-charge that arm up just yet. Forced into the corner, but Grimwood just that little bit too aggressive. Has the rush available as they go for that chiller roaster combination. Gets another grab as they just waltz straight up to Min. And they're just going to be able to avoid that rush, but Replicant with the wherewithal to stop their rush and block the rest of Grimwood. And keeps this very much close and can't take advantage of the grab. They got the shot, but the grab couldn't make it in time, and instead Grimwood brought it into their own. This one does connect at the very least. Replicant's got a fair bit of work to do. It's not over yet by any means of the word, but they've got to stop Grimwood from winning here to make sure the reset does not happen just yet. Rush available on Replicant's side. The grab just over Replicant's head, and very fortunate there, but not this one. Big time grab, Replicant in critical condition, goes for the rush. That is going to connect. Is that the KO? It's not the KO. They still need one more hit. And Grimwood now in that scary state, but isn't going to get the chance to neutralize it. Replicant gets the hit they need. We are going to the 5th match. Oh, we are going to the 5th match. Well, this is that crucial point. This is that crucial point here where, well, Grimwood did the hard part. They were so close to that reset. Now it's do or die. This now determines just how far this final is going to go. Spartan Ring and Dulce are banned from Replicant. Grimwood is going to pick Buster Beach. This could be the last stage pick. It might not. If Replicant wins this, the tournament is over and Replicant will be your winner, with Grimwood finishing in 2nd place yet again. But if Grimwood can win here, we're doing this all again. It's as simple as that. Let's get some hype going in the chat. Who do you want to see? My word. Who do you want to see take this? Oh. Are we... What's going on here? Okay then. So... okay, so... that's gonna be a reset. Whoops. So that's gonna be a reset. Basically, the winner of that match changed, which was Replicant. Replicant changed from Min Min to Lola, but didn't announce it in the Discord. So we're gonna reset that. That was just unfortunate. That was just one of those things. It happens. It absolutely happens. Grimwood was going to stick with Max Brass, but obviously knowing what fighter you're going to come up with will then determine what arms you want to bring into a match. So I totally understand that. But what a way to start the final point of a best of 5 set. Alright, so straight back into this, and Grimwood is going to bring out a big glove. No kidding, it's the buff. Buff and the nade. Meanwhile, Replicant has switched to Lollipop, scores with the Seiki, and also if coming in with the Toaster on that. Remember, I say it's winner takes all. For Grimwood, it's winner takes us into another best of 5, but you get the general idea. And Replicant just starts to pepper in with the Toaster and the Seiki. Remember, that big time explosion, if it does catch you, will shock you as well, which will be the last thing Brass will want in this stage of the game. And already look at the health deficit. Grimwood almost down to half health. Replicant hasn't been touched once yet, as both parties with Rush readily available. Grab not on cue this time round. Arm weak on that left hand side as well. The pressure from Replicant really building up, and the Seiki denies Grimwood a rush, and this is going to hurt big time. Not the KO though. 460 damage. All he needs one more tap and Grimwood is going down. Gonna punch through that grab, but Grimwood far enough away to be able to get back in time to block their own, as Replicant waddles all the way up, throws out a punch. Grimwood goes down. Replicant is on championship point. What can Grimwood do? Gonna run in with double nades again. Gonna stop that Seiki. Thankfully it wasn't charged so Replicant doesn't get caught out in their own explosion. They've got it all to do here, Grimwood, and already starting at a slight disadvantage. Went for the jump grab, but again, Replicant able to read it now. Seiki isn't going to do anything from there, but the explosion again. Grimwood is going to get caught in it. Try to go for the rush. Fell foul of the Seeker. It was the last thing they needed. And Replicant still has advantage. They have a rush available to them. Grimwood's got to just hang in there. Just play this very strategically, very patiently. And so far, they're keeping Replicant at bay. These nade explosions are stopping Replicant from waddling too close to be too aggressive. And they're just clean jumping over the Seeker now. And suddenly they have advantage until they do not. But crucially for Grimwood there, that first blast sent them just a little too high off the second Seeker rush. But now they find themselves in critical condition with 30 seconds to go. They do have rush available, so it really comes down to whether or not they'll use it. They're going to try to hold on to this as much as possible. Grab confirms. That didn't happen. This grab will, but it's not again enough to KO. With 16 seconds to go, Replicant is a hit away from going down. Grimwood has a health lead, but only just 10 seconds to go. They cannot take any damage at this point. Otherwise, they'll jeopardize the entire thing. They do! Will this hit? It does hit! They want similar health. I think Replicant will win it. He does! Replicant wins by millimeters on this. And Grimwood nearly forced it to go to another point again. But no, they couldn't do it. They took damage right at the end. And the toaster poke was all it needed. Replicant is your winner of the 35th Arms Challenge Cup, and would you believe it, for the third cup in a row, Grimwood finishes in second place. You gotta feel for it. But it's not to be. There will not be a bracket reset. It's exactly how it ends. Oh boy, commiserations to Grimwood after all of that. Oh my word, that was a fight and a half. But in the end, it goes the way of Replicant. So our top three for the 35th EU Arms Challenge Cup goes as follows. Your winner is Replicant. In second place, for the third time running, is Grimwood. Bless you, Grimwood. And in third place is Yam. So, and obviously in fourth place, that goes to Okrim. So Okrim coming fourth in the Scrap Star last week and coming fourth in the Challenge Cup today as well. So not bad showing. Thank you to everybody who took part. Always a lot of fun as always. I have been Tamashi Kanjo, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the matches that happened. If you are encouraged to try and take part yourself in whatever way, shape or form, whether as a player or maybe as a caster as well, there are plenty of ways you can follow all the action. You've got our Twitter at @European_arms. You've got our YouTube, EU Arms Competitive. You've got, obviously here on Twitch, EU_arms. And if you view the description below, you can find our Discord where a lot of players will be able to give you tips and advice. And also share tournaments, not just here, but elsewhere as well. Like I said, there's the Scrap Star series that runs tomorrow. So, yeah, there's plenty of tournaments, there's plenty of communities around to get involved in. It's not just us here at EU Arms Challenge. But, like I said, thank you all so much for joining. Take care of yourselves. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for our next EU Arms Challenge Cup, which will be number 36. Will we see Replicant come back to retain it? Will some of the other winners step forward? Or will Grimwood finally kick that second place duck and maybe win the next one? Who knows? You'll have to tune in then to find out. Until then, take care of yourselves and stay fresh.